Chapter 5.2 Ellipse. Okay, in this section we will learn about ellipses. Okay, ellipse is similar to a circle. Circle is the distance the distance from the center is always the same. But the ellipse is there are two points. So not the center, but there are 2 points. So from these 2 points, the ellipse is a set of all the points of this trace. So there is a point, there is a string, like a string connecting 2 points, F1 and F2. Then draw just trace, use a pencil and then draw a circle or draw an ellipse. Just draw it. Then it will form a ellipse like this. So let's write this one. So let's say the center is in the origin. So let me draw this ellipse on XY plane. So here is F1 and F2. So let me use this C1. This is there are two points. We call it foci. So there are focus 1 and focus 2. So let's use focus 1 is C, focus 2 is negative C. Okay, then the trace will be something like this. So let me draw it like this, draw like this. Okay, it doesn't look like an ellipse. Let me try my best. Okay. Right, and then let's say the x-intercept is A. X-intercept is A, then this will be negative A. The y-intercept is B, then this bottom side is negative B. And the center is origin. Okay, so this will be the ellipse on XY plane. And A, okay, this is a very important concept. Since ellipse is a trace from the same point C and negative C to foci, this hypotenuse, in this case we can draw a triangle like this. Okay, we'll use a different color. Triangle like this. So this is center 0, and as you can see, this from this triangle, from center to the focus on the right side, which is C, then the length of the base will be C, the height will be B. Then the hypotenuse, in this case, this is really important. Hypotenuse is same as the x-intercept, the length of the x-intercept. This is really important. Hypotenuse is same as what? This value, starting from 0 to A. So there are names for this ellipse. Okay, the longer side, A is longer than B. In this case, A is longer than B, so we call this longer side is the major axis. So, okay, from here to here is called the major axis. Major axis. And the shorter side from B to negative B is called the minor axis. Okay, as we say that C and negative C is the focus. This is focus 1, and focus 1. This will be focus 2. Of course, the middle part is the origin. This part is called the origin. Alright, then the graph of this ellipse, the equation for this ellipse is this. The ellipse is x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared is equal to 1. This is the ellipse formula. Okay, do you remember the circle, the formula of the circle? Okay, let me write it here. Circle is this: x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. So if you divide each side by r, then it looks like this: x squared over r squared y plus y squared over r squared is equal to 1. The ellipse is very similar to the circle equation because both has x squared and y squared. The right side is 1, but the denominator of x squared and y squared is a squared and b squared. But circle is r squared. So that's the only difference. Because circle has the radius is all same. So actually the longer side and the shorter side are same. A and b are same. But for ellipse, either a is longer than b or b is longer than a. So ellipse has different the length for the longer side and the length for the shorter side. So we will write. So always check the denominator of x squared and the denominator of the y squared. If the denominator is longer, then that should be the major axis, and that the major axis contains the focus 1 and focus 2. So the foci means it's a plural of focus. So foci always lies on the longer side, the major axis. Okay, what if b is larger than a? Okay, b is larger than a. So let me write an example. So for example, here is the equation: x squared over 16 plus y squared over 25 is equal to 1. Okay, then if we rewrite it, then x squared, 16 is 4 squared, plus 25 is 5 squared. So actually 5 is larger than 4. So the focus should be on the y-axis. The major axis will be the y-axis. So if we graph the ellipse, it looks like something like this. So the ellipse should be like this because the longer side is on y. So the focus is on the y-axis. The focus. So on the y-axis, the largest number is 5, the lowest y value is -5. This is the major axis, and the minor axis is x, so 4 is on the right and -4 is on the left. And this is the focus. So this is the focus C. So x equals 0, y equals C, and this part is x equals 0, y will be -C. So there are two foci, and then major axis. So major axis is starting from 0 to this is the major axis. So the length of the major axis is, okay, this is the major axis, and the length is 5 plus -5. So length is 10, and minor axis. So this will be the minor axis. The length will be 4 plus 4 is 8. Length is 8. In this case, the major axis length is 10. Okay. Okay, I forgot to explain the vertices. Okay, the vertices is always the vertex on the major axis. So in this case, since y is the major axis, these are the vertices. This is a vertex 1, this is another vertex. So if we go back here, so from this, the vertex is on the major axis, the longer side. So there are two vertices. Okay, vertices is a plural of vertex. Okay, I also forgot mentioning the focus. How to find the focus? Okay, the focus is this. From this triangle. Okay, from this triangle, the base is C. Okay, let me draw this. Not enough space. Okay, here, that's okay. So this is C, this is origin, and this is B. The hypotenuse is A. Using Pythagorean theorem, we want to find C. So C should be equal to square root of A squared minus B squared. Do you remember the Pythagorean theorem? The C squared, the hypotenuse squared is equal to the sum of other squares. A squared, sorry, in this case A squared. A squared is equal to B squared plus C squared. We want to find C. So C squared is equal to A squared minus B squared, and take a square root on each side, then square root of A squared minus B squared. So you can find C from using this formula. So C, so the most important thing is A. The hypotenuse A is the hypotenuse of this triangle is A. Okay, always A. A is the major axis value. The major axis value. Okay, so from this equation, let's find the vertices and the foci. So vertices are on the major axis. Okay, let's rewrite this equation. So the denominator should be a squared. So 25 is 5 squared, and y squared over 49. 49 is 7 squared. So now 7 is greater than 5, and then 7 is under the y squared. So this implies that the major axis is y. Major axis is the y-axis. So the longer side. So let's graph it again. Graph the ellipse. Okay, so it's gonna be something like this. Something like this. So y-axis, x-axis, and the vertex is 7. This part is 7. The lower part is negative 7. And this is x-axis, 5 and negative 5. Okay, we want to find the vertex. As you see this, the vertex is simple. It's a longer side. So 7, when x equals 0, y equals 7. That's the vertex. X equals 0, then y is negative 7. So vertices are these 2 points. Okay, let's find the foci. Okay, the focus is this. Okay, draw a right triangle. Draw a right triangle. Then the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is same as A, the major axis length. From the center. So it will be A, and the base is, of course, this is 5, and this will be C. So we want to find this point C, and this is negative C. So using the Pythagorean theorem, C is equal to square root of A squared minus B squared. Okay, now A is equal to what? 7, right? 7. So C is equal to square root of 7 squared minus 5 squared, 49 minus 25. So C equals square root of 24. Then 24 is equal to 4 times 6. 4 times 6, so 2 square root of 6. So that is the focus of this ellipse. So okay, this focus should be, the first focus should be x equals 0, y is 2 square root of 6. The second focus will be 0 and negative 2 square root of 6. So we just found vertices and foci. Okay, now we can translate an ellipse, horizontally and vertically. So once you translate the ellipse, we can translate the center. And the equation is really simple. We will use the same definition of shifting graphs. So since we are moving horizontally, we will replace x with x minus h, and also replace y with y minus k. That's it. Very simple. So replace x with x minus h, y with y minus k. Okay, let me draw a ellipse, translated ellipse. So okay, let's say we move to this one. Here is k, and this is h. So if we sketch a graph of an ellipse, it looks like this. Like this. Okay, this is not drawing scale, but it looks like this. So by definition, this should be k. H. This is h. This is k. Alright, so the center will be now h and k. Okay, let me write the center here. Okay, use this one. Center is h, k. How about this point? How about the vertex? This vertex is originally it was okay, let's say a is greater than b. Let's say a is greater than b. So it should be originally should be a, but it moved horizontally, so a plus h, and y, it shifted up k units up, so it should be k. How about this vertex? Originally it was negative a, and then we shifted h units horizontally, so plus h, and y is shifted up k units up. So like this. How about the minor axis point? Okay, this is b, right? B. This length is b. This length is b. So this point will be starting from, it was original, x value was originally 0, but moved h units horizontally. So x coordinate will be h, and the y coordinate is, it moved k units up. So it was in the origin, so it should be okay, the length is b. So wait a minute. So moved up from the center, moved up. So k plus, so a plus k. Okay, how about this one? Okay, x value is still h, moved h units to the horizontally, and the y value was negative b. It was, is it a or it was sorry, this one, okay, sorry, this one was actually was, the y value was b, and then increased k units. And for this point, the y value was negative b, and that was increased k units, increased by k. Okay, then how about the vertices if b is greater than a? Okay, if b is greater than a, okay, let's draw it again and then find out what happens if b is greater than a. So the major axis will be y. Y will be the major axis. So, okay. So the graph looks like this. Okay, we wanna graph. Okay. Okay, we shift it to the right. So let's say this one went up like this. So here is the major axis. And translated h units and k units. So this is h, and this is k. Okay, then the major axis, the vertices are these 2 points. So this the coordinate of this vertex is, okay, originally this one was okay, major axis, so this will be b, right? B, because b is longer than a, and this distance is a. So let's find 2 vertices only. So the vertices for this one, this was below the x-axis, so the x value was 0, and then y was negative b. So moved h units to the right, and the y value, the y coordinate of this point will be, it was originally negative b, and then increased by k. Even this one, this vertex is, okay, right now the x value is h, and y value was originally was b, but this y value b is increased by k. Okay, how about the focus? Okay, the focus will be over here, right over here. So the focus should be, okay, x value is h, and then it was originally c, right? C, we have to find c anyway, but so this will be c is increased by k. Even this one, this foci, it was, now it is, x coordinate is h, and y coordinate is, it was on negative c before, and so negative c is increased by k. Okay, so you can get the new coordinate of translated ellipse by adding h to the original x coordinate and add k to the original y coordinate. Okay, for example 2, okay, let's find the center, vertices, and the foci of a given equation. Okay, for this equation, let's rewrite the equation so that we will have the form, the ellipse form, which is x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared is equal to 1. So let's we have to write a square for x terms and y terms. So using a completing the square method, let's put x squared and x together, and y squares and y term together, and move 4 to the other side. Because we want to write on the left hand side of the equation should be x squared and y squared, and the right side is just a constant. So from the first two terms, let's factor out 4. So this will be x squared minus 8, and then put a little bit more space And for the y squared, y squareds, let's factor out 9. Then that will be y squared plus 4y. A little bit more space is equal to negative 4. Okay, this is 8x. So 2x. Factor out 4, so it will be 2x. So we want to make a perfect square, so we have to add half the coefficient. Okay, half the coefficient of the x coordinate. So negative 2 over 2 squared. So that will be negative 1 squared. So we will do negative 1 squared minus 1. We added 1 inside the parentheses, so we have to subtract 1 from inside the parentheses. Okay, for this, divide the coefficient of y by 2 and then square it. So I'm going to add this one inside the parentheses. So that is 2 squared. Since we added 2 squared, we have to subtract 2 squared, which is minus 4. Okay, then we have the first 3 terms inside the parentheses makes a perfect square. X minus 1 squared minus 1 plus 9. Y plus 2 squared minus 4 is equal to negative 4. And then use the distribution property. Distribute so that we can take both out. 4x minus 1 squared minus 4 plus, do the same thing, 9y plus 2 squared minus 36 is equal to negative 4. Then why don't we multiply each side by 36? Because we want to divide 4 and 9 together. So 4 and, look at this, 4 and 9, the LCM is 36, because the coefficient of x should be 1. Coefficient should be 1 and 1, right? So why don't we divide 36 each side? Then this will be 36. Okay, you can divide it later. Let's move the constant minus 36 to the right, and this is plus 36, so 32. We have another 4, sorry. We have another 4, so move this 4 to the right. Move 4 to the right. So negative 4 minus 36 is negative 40. Move to the right. Then plus 40. So 40 minus 40 is 36. Okay, now let's divide 36 each side. Then the left-hand side of the equation is this. The right side, 36 over 36 is 1. And this means, finally this means, oh wait a minute, okay, divide by 36, sorry, 36. Then the bottom, then this equation is x minus 1 squared over 9 y plus 2 squared over 4 1. If you rewrite it, then the bottom is 3 squared y plus 2 squared over 2 squared is equal to 1. So in this case, a is greater than b. So the major axis is on the y-axis. Major axis is, x-axis. The major axis is the x-axis. So if we graph it, okay, from here, what is the center? The center will be 1 and negative 2. Because this is x minus 1, right? Minus 1. So we will shift original ellipse 1 to the right and 2 down. Okay, plus 2 means move 2 units down. So the center will be 1 and negative 2. So based on this, let's graph it. X-axis. Here is the y-axis. Okay, the longer side is 3 and 2. So center is here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay, the center is 1 and negative 2. 1 and negative 2. So this is the center. 1 and negative 2. Okay, the major axis is 3. So 3 units away from here. 1, 2, 3. So this is the major axis. 1, 2, 3. So this is a vertex. So this vertex is 4 and negative 2. And this vertex is negative 2 and negative 2. Because it's negative 2, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And the minor axis is B value is 2. So this is 2 up and 2 down. Okay, so we can draw an ellipse based on this. So the ellipse is like this, this, and this. Okay, so we found. Okay, so you can draw a invisible line based on the center. Okay, for the focus. Okay, the focus should be somewhere here. Maybe. Okay, let's say around here. Maybe around here. So the focus, let's find C. Okay, to find C, we have to use the formula. The C is equal to what? Square root of A squared minus B squared. And A is the major axis, which is 4 squared. 3 squared, right? 3 squared. Because this is greater than 2, so this will be A, and this value will be B. So 3 squared minus 2 squared, so that is equal to square root of 9 minus 4 is square root of 5. So C value is square root of 5. So this focus will be square root of 5. So 1 plus. It shifted 1 unit to the right. So 1 plus square root of 5. And then 2 units down. Even this one. It was originally negative 1. Okay, that was originally get the center. So shifted 1 unit to the right. Shifted 1 unit to the right. So it was originally negative square root of 5. It was originally negative square root of 5. So we will add 1 to this one. So 1 minus square root of 5. Okay. Originally it was negative square root of 5. And then plus 1. And y is shifted 2 units down. So this is another focus. This is the first focus, second focus. Okay, for this example 3, okay, the center, foci, the major axis of length 10 is given. Then from this given information, let's find the standard form of this ellipse. Okay, first of all, let's graph it so that it's much easier to understand. Okay, here is the x-axis, the y-axis. The center is 4 and negative 2. So let me draw a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7. So 4 and negative 2. 4 and negative 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is negative 2. This is 4. So the center should be over here. So this is the center. So let me draw a little dotted line so that we can draw a graph based on this information. Invisible line. This is an invisible line. So 4 and negative 2 is the center. The foci is 4 and 1. So here is 1, 2, 3, 4. So center is 4 and 1. So this is so it's the foci. So this is one of the focus, and the other one is 4 and negative 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. This is negative 5 over here. So this is focus 1. This is center. The center is x equals 4 and y is negative 2. This focus is x is 4 and y is negative 5. This is x is 4 and y is 1. Alright, the minor axis of length 10. So minor axis, in this case, the minor axis will be the horizontal line. And then since the length is 5, if you divide by 2, 10 divided by 2 is 5. So the minor axis, the point for the minor axis is 5 units away from the center. So 1, 2, 3, 4, here's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, here is 5. Somewhere. And then the graph, and then there will be an ellipse. Well, actually, this is not drawn in scale. This is not drawn in scale, so it looks like this. No good, huh? I have to draw similar. Like this. Like this. Alright, then okay, this distance is 5 and this is 5. So this is the focus, so we can draw a triangle based on the center. Then this height of this triangle is 3, because 1 minus negative 2 is 3. This is 3, this is 5, and this will be A. So this is A, right? A. And A is the distance from the center to the major axis point, the vertex. Okay, so that is A. This looks illegible. So actually from here to here is A, right? A. So this A is same as the hypotenuse of this triangle. So how do we find A? Okay, based on using the Pythagorean theorem, A squared is equal to B squared plus C squared. In this case, B is the minor axis, so B is 5, C is 3, so that is 25 plus 9, so A squared equals 36. A squared is 36, and then from here, we don't have to find A actually, because A is square root of 36. We want A squared, because the formula, the ellipse formula. So what's the ellipse formula? The ellipse formula is, okay, the center, since the center is since the center is 4 and negative 2, this is the h value, this will be the k value. So using the ellipse formula, x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared is equal to 1. So h is 4, k is negative 2, a is, now we found a, right? A squared is 36. Then b squared is, b is 3. So actually b is 5. Okay, so minor axis, so this will be the value of b, right? B. Okay, and then we found the, all right. So the equation will be x minus 4 squared over 36 plus y minus 2. Minus negative 2 will be positive 2 squared over 5 squared, which is 25, is equal to 1. So this will be the equation of the ellipse. Okay, I'm sorry, I made a mistake because 25 plus 9 is 34. Okay, 34, right? So it should be 34. And then the major axis is the y-axis. The major axis is the y-axis. So we have to change these two. Sorry, we have to change these two. So the major axis is the y-axis. So the longer side is 34. You know, a is greater than b. 34. So 34 should be below this y squared. 34. And then b is smaller than a, minor axis. So x is the minor axis, so it should be 25. 5 squared, 25 should be below x squared. So this is the equation of this ellipse. Okay, our solution is the longer side. The major axis used the variable a, so the major axis is y, so we better change this one into a, and this will be b. So this should be a squared and then b squared. So this makes more sense. Okay, eccentricity E of an ellipse. Okay, eccentricity is the ratio of C to A. As you see, this C is the focus. So that is the length from the origin to the focus. And A is the major axis, vertex. So A is half the length of the major axis. So eccentricity is a ratio of C to A, so C over A. Okay, C over A. So based on this C, the focus, the location of the C, the length of C, the eccentricity is different. So if C, the focus is getting close to the center, 0. If C gets to 0, then the eccentricity will be 0. So it's more like, the graph is more like a circle, round circle. If C is close to A, if C gets close to A, that means eccentricity is 1. Then the graph is very thin and long. So the green part, if eccentricity is 0.9, then the graph is really thin. But if the eccentricity is getting close to 0, then the graph is almost a circle. So that's the eccentricity. So let's try an example. Okay, let's find the eccentricity of this ellipse. So first of all, we have to rewrite in a equation of ellipse. So we will divide each side by 18. The best way is divide. So divide the equation by this constant 18. So divided by 18. Then simplify each term. So the right side is always 1. We wanted the right side of the equation should be 1. Then this will be 8x squared over, sorry, not 8. So x squared over, we can divide the first term by 8, the numerator and denominator by 8, then there will be 18 over 8 plus y squared over 18. Divide the second term by 9. The numerator and denominator of the second term by 9. Then 18 over 9. So x squared over, the bottom will be 9 over 4. 9/4 plus y squared. This will be 2. Right. So based on the formula, a squared plus y squared, the equation of the ellipse is a squared. So in this case, a squared is equal to 9 over 4 and b squared is equal to 2. So we want to find the focus. Remember the focus formula? The focus formula C is equal to what? Okay, actually C squared is equal to a squared minus b squared. So we already know what a squared and c squares are. So from here, c squared is equal to 9 over 4 minus 2. So that is equal to 9 over 4 minus 8 over 4, so 1/4. So 1/4 is c. Then the c value, the focus will be square root of 1/4. So that is equal to c is 1 over 2. So we found the focus c. So the eccentricity is c over a, and c is 1 over 2. A is the major axis. So 9 over 4 is greater than 2, so 9 over 4. Then this is equal to B, outside, product of outside over product inside, 18. So 2 over 9. Did we do something wrong? Okay, sorry about this one. Sorry. Okay, made a mistake again. Okay, from this, okay, let's find a. I used a squared. So a is square root of 9 over 4, which is 3 over 2. And from here, b is equal to square root of 2. So c is 1 over 2, while a is 3 over 2. So B, product of outer term over product of inner terms, is equal to 1/3. So the eccentricity is 1 over 3. Okay, so there's another property of ellipse. We call it refractive properties. So from two foci, focus 1 and focus 2, connect the point connect to a point on an ellipse. So there is a point P. And then there is a tangent line at this point. So this will make same angle. So two lines from this foci to this point of this ellipse will make equal angles. So angle A and angle B, they are equal. So angle A, angle B are equal. So this is a refractive property. So using this property, we can have an example. So let's check the example, next one. Okay, example 6. Here is a gallery whose shape is elliptical. The ceiling is elliptical shape. So since it's elliptical, there are two foci. So if you make a sound, then the sound wave travels through the ceiling and reflects it, and it reaches to the other focus. So this gallery has 88 feet long, and the maximum height is 22 feet. So from this one, let's find the focal size, so that if you create a sound from one focus, then this will end up at the other focus. So to find the focus, we need to use the formula. C is equal to, actually C squared is equal to A squared minus B squared. So C is equal to square root of A squared minus B squared. Okay, A is the major axis, the longer side. The longer side is 88 feet long. So A is 88 feet long divided by 2. So 44 will be the value of A, and B is the minor axis. So the shorter side is the y-axis, so 22 feet. So using this, C is equal to square root of A is 44, so 44 squared minus B squared, 22 squared. Then this will be using a calculator. Let's use a calculator, so we can find C value. Then C is approximately equal to 38.1 feet. So focus will be 38.1 points away from the center. So positive 38.1 feet and negative 38.1 feet.